Hi, this is Ones to Watch Chef's Choice. I'm Abby Kenna, and today I'm joined by Mercury.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm buzzing from last night's show. I imagine you are too.
It was so sweet. We talked about it a little bit before, but
Yeah.
it was very unexpected to look out and see the amount of people that were there.
Yeah.
It was really, really sweet. A sweet surprise. So,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, the energy in there was just like magical.
Yeah.
Like everyone, they were like taking videos and like whispering to their friends, like, "This is so good." Like, I think someone turned around and like smiled at me at some point. I'm like, "This is just not an LA show."
I was like, I said it a little bit on stage. I was like, y'all are being so sweet.
Right.
Like it was such a receptive, responsive crowd of people.
Yeah.
And I had some great like friends there and some family. So it was definitely like a sweet come together moment. And yeah, the response was just so sweet though. I feel like it's so rare now, especially in like big music cities, to get a receptive audience or like people who are willing to kind of show you that they're in it with you.
Yes.
Which is so important and special. I don't think people realize like how huge that is until they are the ones up there.
All of these people that work in the industry and they're like, let me cross my arms and not move. But no, people were really into it. And
it
like,
was really sweet.
yeah, it was a nice moment to be a part of. So I'm glad for you.
Aww.
And you have 4 days left on the tour.
Yes.
Which is not that many. How has it been so far?
So crazy. It's definitely been so fun. Like the acoustic set has been a fun like breath of air, because usually we'd be loading in amps and all of this stuff, huge load in load out process pack, and we're just kind of crammed into a little Toyota Highlander with a roof rack, and yeah, we can get everything in one trip for the most part, which is like so awesome.
That's huge.
It is really huge. It makes a world of difference, because I feel like we're putting in so much less body work on the outside of it, but that's been awesome. It's been the most back-to-back like tour ever. I think this back half we haven't had a single off day yet.
Whoa.
It's like our off days are driving days, because the routing is like so far apart from each other, so it'll be like, oh, we technically have an off day tomorrow, but we're gonna do 10 hours
right,
so we can get there and like sleep in day of show and just like explore a little bit.
Yeah, I saw you were like in the mountains of California.
Yes.
Like you got direct from spring water.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you making it to LA tomorrow?
I know. We literally, it was so crazy. Like I had never seen Mount Shasta before.
Yeah, same.
But I know a bunch about it, and I didn't even know what it looked like or where it was or anything. And we were starting to drive, and over in the distance, I see this giant mountain, and Chris is like, that looks like a volcano. And I was like, I think that's Mount Shasta. Like, I was like, I don't know, I just feel it. Like, I think that's Mount Shasta. And we looked it up, and sure enough, it was like Mount Shasta right there. And we were like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And we put on like YouTube videos of all the lore and everything. We were listening
No
to
way.
them while we were just like looking at Mount Shasta. And then Bailey, who's playing upright for me right now, he goes, guys, like 30 minutes later, and Mount Shasta is still there. It is massive. It's so big. And we were looking at it, and it looked like you could just get out and like go walk to it. It's an hour away. That's how big it is. It was so crazy. But he was like, guys, and shows us this big jug of water that we got like so long ago. We get jugs so we can refill our water bottles. And Mount Shasta's on the front of it, and it says this was bottled in Mount Shasta, like right from the source. And I was like, no way. It was so crazy. But yeah.
Wow. That has to be like the best part of touring, is like seeing all those places.
Oh yeah, it's so crazy. Like the first time I drove out cross country to California, we somehow stumbled upon the big sand dunes that they filmed Star Wars.
No way.
So we like just on the side of the road, we were like, no way, we have to stop. And we get out and stop, and we go over to the top of the dune. And once you get over that first one, it's just for miles, as far as the eye can see, just sand dunes. It really was like
That's a little
amazing.
terrifying.
It is wild to know that it is so vast that they filmed Star Wars and it looked like a whole other planet, and we're just there right on. It's like right along the highway. Wow. So easy to get to. It was wild. So little things like that are just the sweet parts. I love it.
That's so hard for me to conceptualize, like growing up in the suburbs of New Jersey. I'm like, there shouldn't be miles of desert.
No. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy coming from like Nashville, and then we're out here and cannot fathom like the mountains and the mesas and we haven't seen sand dunes yet, but like that exists. It's wild.
So you grew up in Nashville and you've stayed there ever since.
Yes.
You love it, I assume.
Yeah. I it's like hard to leave because my whole family's there too. Sure. So, and it's just music town. So it's like I don't have a huge reason to leave other than the fact that I would like to maybe try living somewhere else one day. But yeah, it's I love it. Yeah,
nothing to fix if it's not broken.
Exactly.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on our little 3-course meal.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We're going to go through a couple of songs to get to know you.
Perfect.
And to start, I'd love to know, if listeners have never heard you before, what would you say is the appetizer to you?
So I've been thinking about this. Okay. And it was between a couple for me, but I think I was back and forth.
You can also say 2 if you want.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I will do that. Okay, so I'm thinking appetizer would be probably, I'm going to say Faster.
Okay.
I'm going to say Faster and maybe The Fly.
Some mistakes, not too late once again. Stand up straight.
Okay.
I feel like those are two of my like right now. I feel like very, very, I love those. I love playing those, but I also feel like they both have elements that are represented in all of my songs, just kind of like they have all of the things that I like to make in them, if that makes any sense at all. Like
it does.
Soft and big, but also the folky kind of undertones, but then it's just like a rock song kind of. I think that's a good intro to be like, okay, this is the kind of music this person generally likes to make, or this area they like to sit in. So
that does make sense. I feel like Faster, there's a lot of like pop sensibilities too. Yeah. Like it's not a pop song, but it has like the catchy little earworms where I feel like you could rope people into like the weirder stuff too.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, tell me about those. I know you've like been embarking on this new journey working with a newer producer. So
I recently, I guess this time last year, kind of locked in with Alex Farrar, and he made the Together We Are One EP, which I was like, I remember making that music and being like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like we just clicked.
Amazing.
And he is just amazing. He's a huge inspiration to me and my sound and the things he's able to make. I've always looked up to him a lot in his work, and so that has just been amazing on its own. Like, we get to go in and it doesn't ever feel like work or anything. It never has, but it just especially is just so easy and free flowing to go in. It's like the weight of, I know that this will turn out, is taken away, and we just get to have fun. And it's we just play instruments and try all kinds of different things, and he always has really great input on like structure or just like sonic elements, and he's just so awesome. I've been loving that, and I think these songs are like they just, in the studio it was fun to make. They're very guitar heavy. I love guitar stuff, and so the main parts are very much focused around that, and like some of the vocal production as well, and like the swirliness of it all. And
definitely
I kind of like got away from the original question. My brain wanders so much, but it's the process of those has been amazing, and like just every time I get to go in and record with him, it's so amazing.
I mean, that's huge. I think from like an outside perspective, you can just think that like the music happens or works, or like I think you need the producer to really meet you where you're at in order to sort of give that up, because you know that like he's going to bring it to where it needs to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's awesome to find.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear about Faster, because that one's like fresh and new, and I want to know what it's about for you.
Yeah. Okay. So my friend Justin, he plays guitar with me.
Yes.
And he's an amazing songwriter. He usually plays like bluegrass music.
Oh, cool.
And he writes like country stuff, and he has his own music that is just so amazing. But he one day he likes to send me prompts, and we'll like write on a prompt together, and we each have multiple versions of like this prompt. So I can't wait for him to release his like versions one day. But circling back in, he sent me a voice memo of like a fully finished song, and was basically like, I tried to write a Mercury song, but I think it ended up being pretty un-Mercury. And I was like, actually, I love it. Like I started it, and immediately my heart, I was like, oh, I love this. Like the melody drew me in so hard. So it just, and his lyrics too, I was like, oh, I love this so much. Like, and I immediately started getting ideas, and I was like, can I please write a version of this? Yeah. And so I like kept his verse melody, the clear my head, that kind of thing. That did not even translate at all.
No, I got it. I understood
it. But I kept that, and then a bunch of his lyrics, and then added some of my own, and then the like chorus, the cool me off, knock me down part, those are his lyrics, but a completely different melody, and like was not originally the chorus of the song kind of thing. It was like more of a, if I'm remembering correctly, more of like a pre-chorus, or like some like like it was just different. They're completely different. It ended up being and so it's really fun to like go back and listen to his. He's gonna put his out one day. Oh, awesome. And so it'll just be fun when they're both out at the same time. But yeah, it's like it kind of ended up being for me about getting, I bring back that spiral imagery that I kind of did in the Swarm the Hive Mind song, where I can get really stuck in my brain and like go down a rabbit hole, just kind of thinking about random things. And sometimes when you try to not think about it, it makes it 10 times worse.
Totally.
And so just like it kind of captures the feeling of like laying in bed and trying to go to sleep, but you're like going through every single moment of your life in your head, and you're like, wow, just like cannot stop thinking, that kind of thing. Right. And there's just a bunch of like little feelings caught in there, like the bully tree line. It was so crazy. I didn't even know that existed. but I was like, going to sleep thinking about the fruit from the bully tree was like kind of a play on words a little bit, but just like thinking about unkind people. Yeah. And just like why like I don't know, or just thinking about areas in life where that you've received unkindness, or like maybe dished it out a little bit. Sure. And it's just like that haunts people forever. I feel like all of us go to sleep just thinking about stuff like that sometimes, and that's just a little moment in there. But yeah, that specific laying down and just like being stuck in your head and not being able to calm down a little bit, that's kind of what it's about.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. That's amazing. It's really cool that you guys like write almost like parallel. It's not even like with each other, but like at the same time about the same thing. Yeah. Is that where a lot of the songs are coming from?
That recently he has sent me like there's, let's see, 2 more songs that are recorded now. Okay. That are going to come out on like eventually a little 5-song EP that Justin had given me prompts for. So one of them's Roller Coaster, and one of them's called Justin's Headed Out. Okay. So yeah, it's so fun. Like that is recent, but it is, I usually would just like sit in my room and just write about something, which I still do, but I love the prompt, like really sparks something for me. Yeah. And especially from like a close friend, it's just fun. Sure. There's no pressure on it. we'll just like send it to each other for fun and be like, oh dude, this is actually so special. Like I don't know, it helps. It's fun
to have that like sort of symbiosis, I guess is what I'm trying to say, with other musicians, I feel like is really rare. And watching you guys last night, you could definitely tell how locked in you all were together.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a show with 3 acoustic guitars and an upright bass, but it's a really cool sound.
Thank you. Yeah, I like love playing with 3 guitars. I don't think there will ever be another iteration where I'm not playing with 3 guitars. Okay. Like it's so fun because like my favorite band ever is Radiohead. Oh, and so of course, you know, the swirling guitar parts around your head, around the main stuff that's going on. I love that. And every time I play music, I want it to be like, I'm playing this part, somebody's playing another part, somebody's playing another part, because it just gets that real time, like, oh, there's so much happening right now. It's like you're like producing on stage a little bit.
No, really. It's like I'm trying to look at each of you guys. I'm like, okay, who's playing what? I can't figure it out though.
Yeah.
But no, it was like a full spectrum of sound.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were going to be playing I wouldn't even call it acoustic, honestly, because it was so full.
Sweet.
I feel like it was a good intro to your sound.
Sweet.
Because then you get to listen to the songs and it is that like almost like shoegazy kind of like texture with the new stuff.
Yeah, it's been so fun to like kind of reimagine a lot of the big songs. It's bringing them back to where they came from is kind of what I was saying last night, where I write all of them acoustic or just like unplugged electric guitar. And then they obviously get made into giant sounding songs because I love making music like that. And then at the same time, it's a treat to bring it back down and kind of elevate the songwriting more than like the big noises. So it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, going into this like new era, I mean, we've talked about the sound already, but I would love to know what song you feel like represents where you are right now.
Yeah.
The main course.
I feel like Crick.
Crick from my overthinking. Big cup of rot I'm drinking up so I can spit it all out.
Okay.
I love that song like surprised me a little bit. I remember when I wrote it and I was like, that feels good. Like it's got guitar parts and that are fun to play and it's very cathartic, and then at the same time I can do the acoustic version. It can be soft and like really intimate, and yeah, I feel like it's also just something that I have to tell myself a lot is like, just if I feel a certain way, get it out, like just say it.
Right.
And it's not only like, I feel like something that I kind of look to that song a lot when I'm writing is like, I want to make stuff like this. And also just I carry that kind of those words with me every day, where it's like, if something's tough, it's not going to be any less tough if you let it simmer for a long time. So it just like communicate, like a reminder, because I can shut down and keep things in, and then they just bubble up and boil over, and I don't like doing that, and I don't ever want to do that ever.
Right. Remind me the chorus line. It's
I wish I had the words to say what I was feeling when I felt it. Yeah. And so that's just kind of like, you do. Right. You're thinking them.
You just have to
get
say
it out. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. That wasn't what I was expecting you to say, but seeing that one last night, that was the one that I've gone back and listened to the most recorded. So it's cool you said that. Cool. I feel like Swarm the Hive Mind, when I heard it, was like, whoa, okay, this is like new era.
Yeah, totally.
Especially that music video.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That was so fun to make. Right. And I would say that song can equally like definitely serve as like another one of those big guitar stuff, and like at the end the instrumental thing, and it's so fun to play. And
I bet I
love playing that song live so much, and and the music video is fun, and yeah, it's definitely a huge point in my artistry, I think.
Sure.
Where it's like that song's super inspired by Radiohead, and I'm like, that's another song where I'm like, I can make stuff like that, and I want to make more like that.
Yeah, I think about the Just music video when I see that
one.
one.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah. Just like vaguely political, but also just like, a sign of the times.
Yeah, 100%.
I have to ask you about like your visual inspirations.
Yeah.
Because between that music video, like all of them, but then also the Together We Are One, You and I, that whole short film was really cool.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know if you were going to mention any of that later.
Oh my gosh.
But I'd love to hear about how all of that came about.
Yeah, since I was a kid, I just scroll on YouTube, like, and I love music. So I had this little iPod, the little like Nano, and I remember my parents would just like load music onto that, and that's what I listened to, or like my dad's CDs or whatever. And I remember the first time I was like, I can look stuff up on like my friend, when I was in like 3rd grade, had a little iPod Touch when they came out, and I was like, I remember she had an extra one, and I came home with it, and I like slept with it under my pillow, and I stayed up all night like watching YouTube videos, like music videos and stuff. Yeah. And that was like an in-depth memory that I just pulled out. I hadn't thought about that in so long. I remember my mom found it the next day. I was like, how did you even know that I had that? And she was like, you have to give this back. But anyways, I discovered I can watch like all these awesome YouTube videos of like songs and music videos. I just fell in love with it. Like, it's so fun to watch, especially as a kid. Like, I'm watching all of these adults or like young people be like rock stars, and like they can make their own thing, and there was never a world where I was like, I want to do this, I have to do this, but I don't know how am I going to get there. That's like, I'm 8 years old thinking that. But and then like Video Star and all of that stuff comes out, and it's like, I'm like all over Video Star, and it becomes its own social media platform where like I discovered Demons by Imagine Dragons on that app, and somebody had made this like stop motion awesome music video. I was like, oh, that is the coolest thing. I remember I like tried to make the exact same one on Video Star, and I was making music videos on there all the time, and just like, just watching music videos like freaking crazy. Wow. I love the visual aspect to music. All that to say is just some of my first song discoveries is like the first time I heard a song, I watched the music video with it, which is such a fun experience because forever you have that like emotional connection. And it's really important to me. And I love when artists that I love make videos too, because especially when it's like there's a story behind it, or you are saying more than what's already in the music. That was a huge thing. I work with my friend Harrison on a lot of on pretty much every single visual I've ever done. Like, he has been a part of it, and we both are like, how can we say more than what's already there? And it's like, if we're gonna put time and like money and effort into this, like the words are saying what we want to hear on one front, and then we can create a whole other aid to that. Which has always been really important. But yeah, it's kind of fun. Have you seen the music video? I think it's Digger by Great Grandpa.
No.
So that's one of my favorite bands also ever, and they just kind of reunited, and they're gonna put out a new album soon, which is so awesome. But it is such a good song, but the video is also just like a story you wouldn't expect from the song. And so I love experiences like that where you're like carried through a storyline. Yeah. And I remember watching Codaline, All I Want. Right. And I remember just like bawling, crying to that video and being like, this is so awesome. Like, the story is amazing. And you would have never thought that who came up with that? But it's awesome. And I love it. It's so good.
Wow. That's such an important piece of experiencing music that I think we don't think about so much. But it's crazy because, like with TikTok, Instagram, social media, these videos are our first experiences with so much music.
Yeah.
But we're not putting such an intentional effort behind that first experience.
Right.
Whereas, like, yeah, growing up, I feel like Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen, I will forever see that music video.
Yes.
It's the first way I saw it. Probably like on MTV or something, like as a commercial. But yeah, those memories live with us forever, and it totally recontextualizes.
Oh, yeah.
And I see the Swarm the Hive Mind like flashing lights in my head when I listen to the song.
Yeah.
So I think it's a valiant effort, and although maybe music videos aren't people's like number one way of listening to music, I think it's gonna go far.
Oh, thank you
for the vision.
Totally. I love like the TikTok thing too is like I have such a hard time with it because I don't like to leak stuff before it's out because I want there to be like an intentionality around the first time someone hears the song. I don't want it to just be like, oh, so casual. Like, no, like I worked really, really hard on this and I'm gonna like put it out for maybe the whole like world to see, or just like random people to like scroll by it. I'm like, I care about it. Like I want it to be like, if I'm gonna share it, I want it to be with everything that I have. I don't want it to just be like little snippets or
like a throwaway video.
Yeah, exactly. Like I that's why I have such a hard time with it. But also it's fun and you can make an art form out of it, and there is fun ways to do it. But yeah, I that's a whole other battle, but and I don't even look upon it like with hatred or disgust.
It's
or
honestly
anything,
just like a challenge.
It is. It's hard. It's hard to figure it out, especially as someone who like I don't we grew up in a time where there wasn't Vine until we were like 7th or 8th grade, or until I
barely consumed Vine.
Exactly.
And then it was gone.
Exactly. So it's like the main way was like long form content, like long videos, and I still love it so much.
Same.
Like, I love it. So it's hard to find that balance and like figure out what to go through. But yeah, all that to say is just the videos are so important to me. Yeah.
So Radiohead music videos, those ones are really important to you. Were there any other visual artists that you sort of looked to, or even just like honestly sonic influences in this new era as well?
Yeah, so many videos, honestly. It can be, I found so many just like random tiny bands, and the videos have like 300 views, but it's just like awesome, so fun to watch. And I think sonically, Radiohead, Sonic Youth is a big one.
Nice.
But then like Big Thief and Adrian Linger's songwriting is like, I feel like a pinnacle for everybody right now.
Totally.
But also just like old music. I've listened to like Rolling Stones, and we've been listening to a lot of the Beatles, and just like going back to the core of where the first music was recorded, and like people were writing songs, but this is the first time we're able to record and share with the world.
Right.
I was thinking about that the other day. We get in deep conversation mode in the car sometimes where it's like, oh my gosh, guys, like they couldn't even record music until like 60 years ago. Like we didn't, that I don't even know the exact like timeline of that.
I know, I'm thinking about it as if this is the year 2000.
Right. But exactly. It's 2025 now, actually. Like
within the last century.
Yes, exactly.
It's pretty new.
It's like, so all of the first music that was ever recorded is like the original music of the world.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
It's crazy.
It's so wild to think about. Like,
the Wild Horses cover was beautiful, by the way. Everybody loved that.
Thank you. It's so fun. It's fun to play with these guys, too, because they're really smart. Like, they can, I can be like, I want to play this song tonight. They know it immediately. Like, they're so amazing. But that one was a fun one that we threw together. I love singing with them, too. So it's,
the
any
harmony
excuse for a harmony is so fun.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, but just, like, I'm all over the place with my influences.
That's good.
Truly, like, I love Kendrick's videos. Oh my gosh, so awesome. His song, he's a freaking genius with what he has to say all the time. Yeah. And I like, yeah, so many influences, but
That's sick.
yeah.
Okay, well, to round it out,
Yeah.
for our third course, I always love to ask for like a personal favorite or like a little cherry on top
Yeah.
to our 3-course meal.
Yes. I think it's just special.
Okay.
Is my third course.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's got that softness to it that I love to lean into a lot when I can.
Yeah.
And it still gets big and like rocky at the end, but that's an important side to the music that I like to make, that I don't ever want it to be like looked over. Also, that song is just special to me, but
Sure.
yeah, I like the softness, and I love making music like that just as much as I like making the big, like, heavy stuff.
Totally.
So, yeah, it's definitely a really huge part of my sound that I don't get to lean into as often, maybe, or just, you know, when I do, it's fun. And sometimes it feels like it sticks out a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, no, it's just all me. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And tell me a little bit about why you wrote that song, what special means in that context.
I think I was having a little bit of a hard time, but it's just kind of about not feeling like an equal to people around, or certain people around me, or based off of, you know, like, it could be an experience with a complete stranger who's just like sucks in the moment, and it's like, come on, like, like, I don't know, the feeling of not feeling good enough for somebody to look at you as like, oh, you are a human being who, like, you know, I can be nice to you for 2 seconds, or I can, like, treat you with kindness or respect regardless of who you are or what you've done or whatever. I think it's just like a really important thing. That's important in my life a lot. Like, I believe in, like, forgiveness and grace and all that stuff, and so I think now it's really easy to just, like, write people off for tiny things,
agree,
and I think that's wrong. I really do. So yeah, I love that. That's just what it's about.
No, that's amazing. I think that's a great finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to mention, I don't know you like I used to. I don't always. Because I heard that song when it came out, and I've been a fan since. So
yes, it's my baby.
It's a
little baby song. Yeah, it's so crazy. That song, like, really changed my world in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And prior to that, there was, like, an EP that I made with a bunch of my friends. We took a tape machine to the beach and
cool.
did 7 tracks on it, and it was so fun. And then that I Don't Know You was the, like, first single, I guess, that we put out, and yeah, it really just shifted. It was a huge shift. I remember writing that song and being like, oh, this is a shift. Like, this is, I unlocked this, like, ability to write the things that I want to make, lean into it a little bit more. And, like, it was a really cool moment. And I have the voice memo from the first thing that I ever, like, wrote of it. And it's just such a little baby, and looking back on it, but it's like, at the end of a show, sometimes somebody will be like, I didn't even know this was you, but I've been listening to this song for so long. And it's, like, so sweet when people say that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wow. I love that.
So sweet.
Yeah. A great full circle moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I have 3 final questions for you.
Yay.
I would love to know, if your music was a candle, what it would smell like.
Whoa.
An abstract candle. Doesn't have to be a real smell or scent.
Wow, I love that question. So, one of my favorite ways to listen to just any music is a dark, like, nice at night in a room where there's just candles lit.
Ooh, okay.
So it is so fun. I have, like, this record set up, and it's fun to just, like, put on a record and then have the candles lit and just listen. And I think my favorite scents are probably, like, mahogany, that kind of esque, where it's just, like, the wood, like a cabin. But I also had this, like, mulled wine candle that I loved a lot, that I would burn them at the same time, and so it was just, like, sweet, smoky, warm.
Yeah, I like that.
But it's also got the like coolness of like a cabin or something. And I feel like that's just such a nice environment to set up to like
No, that's sick. Yeah.
listen and just feel like, oh, I don't know. Those are my favorite scents. Maybe people like those scents too. But I feel like that's probably what I would say is as far as like the type of music I make is similar to stuff that I try, you know. I strive for things that I'm inspired by, obviously, but
yeah,
I think that would be a nice scent to
Yeah,
maybe
that's the
listen to. Yeah.
my second question is what your favorite sound is right now, but like a life sound.
Okay.
Not
Oh
like a
my
music
gosh.
sound. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Oh, there's 3.
Okay.
One of them is always like ocean noise or like whale songs.
Okay.
I love listening like underwater whale noises. So awesome to me. I love
Amazing.
it so much because you just got like the water and the whales and all this stuff. But another one recently is like we'll be listening to music in the car for hours and then like turn it off and it's just the road, like the wheels against the road, where it's kind of like a white noise kind of thing, and it's just so calming to me, where it's like so low and rumbly.
Yeah.
But I've just been loving that one.
Silence in the car is great sometimes.
It's so nice. Like it's so meditative. It's
Yeah.
like I was like, oh, this is so nice. Like I don't want to put on any music. Yeah, that's probably the other one. And then I would say just like brown noise.
Okay.
Is so
sick.
nice.
That's the good one.
So nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, my very final question is who your ones to watch are. So who should we be listening to that you're listening to?
Gosh. Oh, wow. Let me think. Cassandra Jenkins.
Oh, I know the name, but I don't know why.
Oh my gosh. It's like I love that music so much. She has 2 albums out that are just so amazing. But my favorite song by her is Hard Drive, and it is so amazing. It's like this spoken word kind of thing. Her voice is so calming, but the music is also just amazing. I used to go on runs while I listened to her albums. So amazing.
Okay,
I didn't even have to look to say that, but that one. And then I've been listening right now this band called Wishy. I
Love on the Outside.
Love. And
so good.
They put out 2 singles recently that are also so amazing.
Okay.
And I've been listening a bunch to the freaking Tom Odell album too.
Okay,
That just got put out. That's so beautiful. I love all the strings. And then my favorite one is the Current Joys East My Love that just came out. Current Joys is like my favorite.
Yes.
One of my favorite bands ever. It's like right up there with Radiohead. And then also the Districts aren't a band anymore, but that's another, their discography is huge inspiration for me. So yeah, and Great Grandpa.
Okay. Sick. No, these are all really good.
Okay, yay.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here and making the time.
Thank you for having me. It's
Yay.
so awesome. So nice to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. Well, once again, this is Ones to Watch Chef's Choice. I'm Abby Kenna, and this is Mercury. Yay.